Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today it's my first episode of the new series on my channel, the series Sewing Through the 20th Century. And in this episode I'm going to create an outfit for 1910. You can see you have a little sneak peek here. I'm already wearing the outfit. So let's just begin the video so you can see how I created this outfit and get a closer look to the outfit itself. So let's go! First, I make a mood board about the period I'm working with. So in this episode, I'm working with 1910, so a mood board inspired by 1910. Especially 1910 after and during World War I, because the fashion really changed during that period. You really have the fashion before the war and after the war, and the fashion after the war or during the war is more wearable today and is really the start of like modern fashion, in my opinion. The skirts are getting shorter and also the blouses are getting more loose and more wearable actually. For the pattern of the blouse, I chose the Armistice blouse from Volkswear, and for the skirt I chose the McCall's 8071, and it's a design made by Angela Clayton. If you look back at my mood board, you really can see why I chose this pattern for the skirt. It's really because the skirts of that time are just above the ankle and are also decorated with buttons all over the skirt. I don't know why they did it, but I really love it because I love buttons. But the buttons are really just a decorative feature actually, so they don't have any function. It's just decorative, but I like it. The fabric is a striped fabric and it's actually dark blue with white stripes, but the wrong side of the fabric is like a more light blue, gray blue with white stripes. So the original plan was to use the right side with the dark stripes, but then I saw the fabric in real life and I liked the lighter version better. So that's why I chose that the wrong side is now the right side of the fabric. Here you can see me pinning and cutting out the fabric, and after I did that I overlocked all my pieces. I know that it's not really done in that time period, but I like it way better this way, so that's why I did it. I don't have a real explanation for that, but yeah. The first step you have to do is sew all the pleats. So there are 8 pleats in total, 4 in the front and 4 in the back. And I just pin all the notches together that I traced over on the fabric, and then I draw a line from the one point until the other point where I have to stitch so that I make my pleats. Then they say you have to stitch over the pleats. So you press the pleats to the center front and the center back, and then you top stitch over them. I do that with my blind hem foot number 5, because then you can place that metal thing underneath the foot against the seam. You switch over your needle to the left or the right, and then you can give a very narrow stitch against that seam. After your pleats are finished, you have to stitch the side front parts to the center front, and you have to close the center back seam until the point where you want your closure to begin. After that, you can stitch the side seams of the skirt, and then your skirt is just almost finished. Now you can see me stitching on the facing to the skirt. So normally a facing has to face inwards, but this time the facing is coming outwards. So after you stitch the facing onto the skirt, you have to flip it over to the right side of the skirt and stitch it close. So you have to pin the right side of the facing onto the wrong side of the skirt, stitch that line around the waist, and then flip it over to the right side of the skirt. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but when you're doing it and you see what you're doing, it's actually not that difficult. To finish off the skirt, I hand sew all the decorative buttons onto the skirt. There are a lot of decorative buttons on the skirt, so it's a little bit time consuming, but it's a nice work and it's very relaxing. And voila, now the skirt is finished. Here you can really see how I stitched over the facing onto the skirt. It's the part that I didn't film, but I also used the same blind hem foot number 5 that I used before to stitch that really narrow line against the facing. So that's the line, the stitch line that secures the facing to the skirt. I also sewed in a blind zipper. That was not how the description said I had to finish off the skirt. They use buttons to close the skirt, but I just like blind zippers. I know I said I was going to follow the descriptions, but I'm not very good at it, and I just like to do it my own way. So yeah, but the skirt is finished, and now we can move on to the second part of the outfit. Hello everybody, today I'm working on the blouse. I just traced over all the pattern pieces and now I was laying it onto the fabric, but that is not exactly what I had planned, because normally I was going to use 2 blouses of my stepdad that he had thrown away because they were too small, but I just laid all the pattern pieces onto the fabric and not all of them can be cut out of the blouse. So I was thinking about another idea, and I think I have another fabric laying that I can use for this. So the fabric I was thinking of was this white with these little dots. I don't know if it's historical accurate to use this kind of fabric, but I think it will be pretty and wearable, so I think I will go for that fabric instead of this. Ooh. As you can see, it's a real big mess, it's not working out. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just going to use the other fabric. Okay, that was a little update, and see you soon, bye! So I just laid the fabric over the dress form just to see how it looks with the skirt, and I think it's a great match. It's a little bit see-through, but I think with something underneath it will be just fine. So yeah, I was just looking at the picture of the pattern, the model, and turns out there are little dots on the blouse. So maybe that's a sign that my new fabric choice is alright. First you have to gather the shoulder seam of the front of the blouse until it matches the shoulder seam of the back of the blouse, and then you have to stitch that seam. Hello, so a little update. Normally I had to stitch a band and then turn it around to form like a waistband in the blouse that you can pull on, but this fabric is just so delicate and a pain in the ass, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not going to do that. I have enough of it. I will make the blouse without that waistband. See, so that's what I did. I sewed it together, then I tried turning it around so that I will have this band to stitch in the waistline, but as I told you before, this fabric is just too delicate. I'm not going to do that. I will figure it out in another way. So yeah. So the next step is to pin and then stitch the side seams of the blouse. And then you press the side seams open. Actually, you press a lot, but I'm always too lazy to film that. Also in the skirt you press a lot of seams. So here's a little clip of me pressing the side seams. Now I sew on the collar. First you lay the two collar parts on each other, right sides on each other. You stitch around that seam, then you flip it over, you turn it around, and you pin the seam of the collar onto the neckline of the blouse, and then you stitch that seam. The next step is to sew the facing of the blouse. So you sandwich the blouse and the collar, and then you pin onto that the facing and stitch all around the neckline and the front part, the front seam. And now the blouse is finished. No, I wish. You can see a clip of the finished blouse now, but there has been a lot of steps that I didn't film. And that's mainly because I was so tired of working with this fabric. I was really at a point where I just was like, I'm gonna leave the blouse for what it is. I'm not going to finish it because the fabric is so difficult and delicate. But then I found the courage to finish it, but I didn't film it. So the parts that I didn't film were sewing in the sleeves, finishing off the sleeves, sewing the hem, and sewing the center front piece of the blouse onto the front of the blouse, and also the buttonholes and sewing the buttons. Voila! Here you can see the finished outfit, and I'm just really happy with how it turned out. I had a hard time finishing it because of the blouse, but I'm very glad I did finish it because I just love how the outfit turned out, and I'm so happy with it. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of how this outfit was made. I'm really happy with how the outfit turned out. Even though I was so done with working with this fabric, I know it's a pretty blouse. In my opinion, it's a pretty blouse. The fabric is also very pretty, but it was such a pain in the ass to work with. It was really not nice because it was really delicate and the fabric wasn't laying flat on each other, even though I pinned it all. It was really hard to work with. Even was at a point that I was just like, I'm not going to finish it, the blouse. I'm just going to leave it there. But then I found the courage to finish it, and I'm really happy that I did because I really like the blouse. When I'm seeing it on, I really think it's a pretty blouse. So I'm really happy that I made it. I'm also happy that I chose for the World War I, after World War I time of fashion period instead of the early 1910s, because as I already told you, the early 1910s was really like long dresses, corsets, not very wearable today actually. So after the World War or during the World War I, the fashion changed and it's more modern in a way. It's more like beginning of the fashion that we wear today, you know? Like the skirts are getting shorter, the blouses are getting looser. You be more active in the clothing. You can do more in them instead of wearing long skirts and corsets and you're really like tight and you can't just move. And so I'm really happy that I chose this outfit because I can combine it today with other pieces I have already in my closet. Like the blouse I can easily wear with jeans, or the skirt I can wear with another top and it will look okay. It won't look like I'm jumped out of a historical drama or something. So I'm happy that I did like this and that I can wear it in just my daily wear. I hoped you enjoyed watching this video as I enjoyed making this video and making this outfit. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you next time for a new video of this series, a new episode and a new time, 1920. I'm really looking forward to this time, and we will see which outfit I will make you next. So see you next month, I guess. Bye bye. If you want to see more of me and my creations, you can follow me on my other social media platforms or subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Bye bye!